Opens with Captain Brody Torrance calling his daughter Daniela from Singapore as he prepares to return to Honolulu to spend the holiday with her. The co-pilot of Trailblazer Airlines Flight 119, Samuel Dell, advises Brody, a former RAF pilot, that they will be flying into a storm as soon as they take off. The chief flight attendant, Bonnie, alerts Brody that he must see Officer Shellback. The officer tells Brody that they are carrying Louis Gaspar, a murderer and former member of the French Foreign Legion. We glimpse other passengers, including youthful social media influencers and a snobby businessman, as the plane prepares to take off. Brody and Dale converse as they are in the air, with Brody revealing how his wife passed away years previously. The aircraft experiences significant turbulence as it travels through the typhoon over the South China Sea. As the storm worsens, the plane sustains damage, and Brody sustains a head injury in the ensuing chaos. When the plane starts to crash, a stewardess is killed, and Shellback also perishes from being thrown around. Without comms and radar, Brody and Dell must maintain control to achieve a safer equilibrium. They need to make an emergency landing because they realize the damage is too great. The pilots locate an island and land awkwardly. After everything has calmed down, Brody instructs the passengers to exit the aircraft. He and Dale discover that they are on the island of Jolo. Scarsdale, the crisis manager for Trailblazers, meets with the board of directors at their headquarters in New York City to try to find the jet and its passengers. Due to his violent past, Brody tries to keep Louis segregated and isolated from the other travelers. In order to keep the passengers calm and discover a means to call for assistance, Brody collaborates with Dale and Bonnie. Dale informs Brody that violent separatists run Jolo, posing a threat to everyone there the longer they stay. As soon as word of the plane's crash landing reaches the rebels, led by Dado Junmar, they plot to exploit the passengers. Brody follows Louis into the forest in the meantime to look for a method to ask for assistance. Back in New York City, Scarsdale and the board go over Brody's history file, which includes a video of an incident in which the driver put a belligerent passenger in a chokehold until he passed out after the man attacked the driver for intervening in a fight and trying to defuse it. Since Scarsdale is aware of the danger on the island, they want to dispatch a private military squad to rescue everyone as soon as the plane is located. Daniela's aunt tells her that her father's plane crashed in Honolulu. When Brody and Louis arrive at the tower, Brody is able to speak with a Trailblazers agent, who at first doesn't believe them since she says they have been receiving a lot of cranks calls over the missing flight. Before a rebel attacks him, Brody also makes a call to Daniela. Until the man is killed, Brody battles the man. Brody and Louis investigate the structure further and discover that the rebels have been torturing and filming their captives in exchange for ransom. When the two return to the jet, they discover that Junmar and his thugs have already arrived. When a Korean woman tries to run away, one of the rebels shoots her. Then her husband is mercilessly beheaded. While Brody and Louis hide, the rebels continue to hold everyone else hostage. The two capture the last rebel after the rebels have fled, and they find out that Junmar is taking everyone to a nearby village. Brody and Louis decide to go after everyone and save them. Hostages are made to disclose their names and countries of origin, as the two leave for the village by Junmar. When the military squad gets to the island, they'd only discover the death of Shellback and the stewardess and a message from Brody. Nobody is near the plane. Before finding and liberating the hostages, Brody and Louis reach the settlement and kill a few more rebels. Brody stays behind to let people off the bus as everyone boards the vehicle. Junmar and his men thrash him and were about to put him to death when the military unit arrived and started firing on the rebels. When Junmar discovers his brother among the dead following the fight, it intensifies his motivation to fight the other people. Everyone returns to the aircraft and boards it. The Trailblazers board debates whether Brody should pilot the aircraft given its extensive damage and likelihood of fatalities for all occupants. Louis decides to stay on the island because he has no hope of returning home, and he discovered a suitcase of ransom money. Louis joins the military troops as they battle the rebels. Brody and Dell make an effort to move the plane now that the majority of the rebels have been killed. Junmar tries to shoot an RPG at the plane, but Brody lifts it high enough in the air to run Junmar over with the wheels of the aircraft, killing him instantly. Brody then decides to use the remaining fuel to make a landing in Siassi at a nearby airstrip. Everyone at HQ cheers when Brody can safely land after some turbulence. Brody takes a seat to contact Daniela and inform her that he is returning home while the passengers quiet down.